Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for September 17th through the 23rd, 2018. So let's take a moment and clear our minds, just put everything aside, and to really just focus in on our breathing and to allow yourself to just become fully aware of your inner light that is shining within you. And with each breath, feel or see or sense that this light is growing and expanding. And this is your spiritual truth. It's unconditional love. Feel the love that is there for you. And let it expand throughout your entire body, the cells, into your energy field, into the space where you're sitting. Just see yourself glowing as bright as the sun. And just notice how that love continues to expand in every direction. And have an intention of just calling through the golden Christ frequencies and letting this energy just permeate every aspect of your being, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, and psychologically. And just feel that you're safe and protected and loved, and that you're surrounded by all of your angels and your guides. And so as we tune in to this week and see what messages are coming up for us for this week, and getting a sense, and they keep writing the word come, they won't change it, so they just keep repeating it, come, come. And this feels um, like there's something either that you're waiting to come to you, or that there is something coming. Um, they write in land and ocean, and this is a little weird, but we'll go with it. Just see what's coming up about it. But it feels like the writing word beach. So it has something to do with you being very this sort of the words they're using are sort of setting a scene for me, which is reminding me sort of the Two of Wands or the Three of Wands, okay, and probably more the Three of Wands now that I think about it, because they've written the word come, where you see, and they're writing the word passage. So there is something in that card. You see these ships, and they could either be being just embarking on a journey which will bring some or yield some kind of returns, or they could be returning. So that kind of goes with what I was sensing in the beginning. It's either something, you're waiting for something to come to you, or you're seeking something, and they just wrote the word it's possible, okay, and they're saying to not pass this opportunity. Don't let this opportunity pass. And this is not to say that you can mess this up. They don't mean it that way. Like, they're not saying don't do something wrong. Okay? But what they want you to do, they just wrote the word perception. They don't want you to um, to allow something to alter the perception of this, the way you received it, this opportunity. They want you to understand that this is a progressive opportunity, so that there are multiple things, outcomes, multiple outcomes from this situation that you're launching. If it's an idea or a new goal, a new project, there are multiple outcomes, and each one of them is a part of this opportunity. That each one will lead to an outcome. It could lead to several outcomes, or they could all be working together for one specific outcome. The thing is that no matter what how your mind may be interpreting this, you have to know that you don't want to let anything reinterpret something that fulfills you and makes you happy. So they wrote the word happiness. And I've been sort of given this in this week, something I learned. It's sort of like what they mean by this perception thing is that, you may internalize this situation differently with doubt, and you may feel, through judgment or criticism, they're writing this out, and it may cause you to feel emotionally, sort of like you're challenged in some way. You'll feel vulnerable in some way, and the thing is that the thoughts that are fueling your perception, okay, those can be, I'm trying to figure out the way I want to put this to you. So I guess I'll explain it this way. Think of the thoughts as like a code. Think about how, when somebody writes a code for whatever we see on that screen, there's all these words, all these words and all the letters and arrows and things like this that create what you see on the screen. And that's what your thoughts are like. There are a multiple thoughts that generate the idea that your brain processes. And the emotional component is the feedback, or how you interpret those thoughts and ideas. And so the thing is that sometimes we get so focused and get stuck in the emotional aspect that we're not really paying attention to what are the thoughts that's feeding those emotions. Because this is what it means. So the thing is, like, when someone says, beware of your thoughts. Well, the thing is, it's just not one thought that you're having. You're having multiple thoughts. Just like it's like a code that creates that idea and that emotional response that you are interpreting. So it's not going to be this one thought that you need to be afraid of, and you don't need to be afraid of any of them. What you need to be aware of is, what are the thoughts? What is making up this? What is the code of thoughts behind this idea that you're experiencing emotionally? And the thing is that thoughts, like air, have this influence, but you can focus or center your thoughts. We call that an intention. So when you're inspired with an idea, there that inspiration comes from the universe. So you want to call it a God code that's been written versus the ego code. And you know when you are experiencing one or the other because of how it makes you feel. And so when you feel um, emotions that are negative and create doubt and a lack of trust and faith in whatever goals you set, that alerts you that you're processing thoughts, and not just one, but multiple thoughts that go into making up the code that the ego is influencing within you. And if you go back to the thought that inspired your process, your goal, your project, if you reconnect with that intention and what is the main thought, if you try to go general with your thoughts until you feel even more inspired and you feel more in alignment and like you're in the flow of that inspired idea, you'll get yourself back on track. And you'll know it because you get the feedback emotionally. So when they say watch your thoughts, think of this as more like what code am I writing? What code am I so first of all you want to know what is the code that's been input into the brain, the computer of your brain. And there are several, but once you are aware of what's creating this, then you can alter those thoughts. You can redirect your focus, your intention, so that you can find alignment with what are your goals. And sometimes this is not a negative thing when things don't always stay on course, if you will. You know, the angels have said to me a long time ago, um, it is that it is our imperfections that make us the perfection that we are. So we're always so worried about not making a mistake and not being messy. And it's the contrast. This experience, human experience, is an experiment. So it's the divine order, as we've all heard and understood, is not about being correct and coloring it in the lines all the time. And it's not about drawing outside the lines all the time. It's about understanding that wherever you are is where you need to be in order to understand where you need to go. You're never getting it wrong and you're never doing it wrong. It's just a process. But when we are emotionally attached to these ideas throughout our perception, when we interpret, then we get stuck because we're no longer flowing with the thoughts. And you don't realize it doesn't matter what you're thinking. It matters more that you know that you have the ability to input your own thoughts, to write your own code, to influence how you approach the experiment that is your life. So don't allow yourself to be worried about, oh my God, I'm feeling, I must be creating these negative experiences because I'm feeling really crappy right now. And what am I doing wrong? And then get all bent out of shape about that. Getting bent out of shape is a way for you to know that you need to get in shape spiritually. But that being in shape doesn't make you better or less. Because all of it collectively is what we came here for. This is what allows us to have the most unique, cutting edge, leading edge experiment within the entire universe. This is why we were given free will as a guarantee and an opportunity. Free will, the experiment of free will, is an opportunity. It truly is a fortunate opportunity. No one has made a mistake. Yes, we experience pain, and there are situations that horrify us. And you won't get it. You just are not going to get it. You're not going to understand it when you're in it. And you shouldn't try to understand everything. It's just not possible. It's not the design of being in this three-dimensional frequency, being in this physical body, that you're going to have all the answers to everything. And I don't pretend that I do in talking to you, but what I do focus upon is what I'm given, not what I'm not given. I don't have all the gifts in the world to answer every question that anyone would put before me, but neither would every person and every question in the world be presented to me, because I cannot be in this physical experience in all of those places all of the time, and I cannot be focused on every subject that has ever been and is right now. Each one of us is where we need to be, and what we're experiencing is where we need to be in order to grow and to give the contrast gives us the opportunity to exercise our free will, and our free will gives us the opportunity to create expansion, new questions, new answers, new innovations within the universe. So where you are is where you need to be, and when you're ready, you will know and you will understand. And so if you can focus where you are and appreciate what you know and what you're going through, but they want to give you this little piece to let you know that how you get to what you want and what you want to know and the solutions is by being present with the information that is flowing through you. And you are, each of us is this amazing, I don't want to minimize, but by saying this, but we're this amazing processor, like a computer, except we have an extended abilities that computers don't have, or artificial intelligence does not have, and that is the ability to feel, and to know how these thoughts, these codes influence, impact, etc. And in having this ability comes also the opportunity, I was going to say responsibility, but the word they're saying is opportunity, to be aware, the opportunity, and this is not going to sound like it makes sense, but it's an opportunity to be able to feel, to be aware of that which you do not desire and that which you do desire, the things that horrify you and the things that give you pleasure. It's an opportunity, all of it. But don't forget, enlightened one, that this all lets you know where you want to focus so you can refocus your intention or set a new intention, write a new code, so to speak. Okay? So I don't know if this helps, and I know I want to move on to the cards, but because this came to me, my voice teacher, everything has been really coming out of this experience. But we were working on a song, and acting has always been like this thing that was just eluded me. I felt like I was trying to perform or trying to act, and I'm the kind of person who I don't. It's not easy for me to do something that's not genuine. So, and it it felt like that for me sometimes when I'm practicing. But we were working on thoughts, and she just told me to focus on the thoughts behind the words, and as I began to do that, and I went home and tried this, it just made so much sense. But this was when I had this idea of how there's all these thoughts behind the words that I'm singing that's feeding the what the composer put there, what I'm feeling, what the poet wrote, and they all work together, and it was just happening without me trying anything. And all I had to do is focus on the texture of those thoughts. I went from the thought and then the texture of the thought. And I went from feeling defeated and, feeling incompetent to feeling inspired and engaged, and so was my singing. So if this helps you to understand how to work with this, because the thing is that you always have the voice of God with you, which is inspiration. And you always understand the guidance that God would give you, because that would be inspired actions, instincts, impulses. And when you feel like you're totally disconnected from that, you have to reset your intention. You have to focus, redirect your thoughts until you feel, because every thought gathers momentum. So all you have to do is keep following that train of thought, and you will know that you're moving in the right direction because you feel the momentum gathering of enthusiasm and excitement and exhilaration. All of this, you feel it, and it's really amazing because you're watching yourself participating in the creation. You're observing your own innate creator instinct. These are the gifts that we've been given, and they are never stripped away from you. You get lost sometimes, like we all do, and forget how to engage them. But they are there. In a phone conversation or in a meeting, set your own intention, because there are thoughts flying, circulating around the room. Thoughts coming from the people around you and thoughts coming from the collective of everyone. And so you insert yours and focus upon it. Don't lose your power by responding or reacting rather to what's happening, because that's where that perception thing comes into place. Then what's happening is that now you are reacting, which means that you have interpreted the situation, and that interpretation is being compounded and made to feel real, the illusion, by the emotions that you're now reacting to. So you can't, that's why it's difficult, because we keep reacting to the emotions instead of focusing on what are the thoughts that I am digesting. Because if you go there, you will understand. When you're in the emotions, it's hard because it's all interpretive and it's all personal. But if you go to like the computer and you go back to the code and you look at the code, you'll see where the bugs are. And the thing is you see this code, you just rewrite it. Okay. Let's take a look at the card from the Archangel Oracle and see what the theme of the week is. Okay, so we have Archangel Ariel, and the card says, spread your wings. It says, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect, and you are ready to soar. So I feel like this really goes with the beginning about you're launching a goal, you're waiting for something to come. And that this is telling you that this is the right time. So sort of this is the right time to set your ships, set them out to sail and to go out to, and to bring and see what it brings back to you. This is the opportunity to do that and to not hold back. Don't look at what you're thinking. Look at what's feeding the thoughts, what's feeding the ideas that you can't succeed, or that this is not the best time for you. What's making you feel this lack of confidence in yourself? But more so, what is it that you truly want? What is the thought that you want? What is the intention that you really want to initiate? Because sometimes your intention is a lot simpler than your goal. And sometimes we just get confused and our goal can lose focus from the intention. And so it may not be that this is not the right time, but that you may need to refocus your goals around the original intention that inspired all of this. It's okay that your goals progress and sort of take turns in different ways, but you want to always make sure that your goal is in alignment with the intention that inspired it. That it's still closely in alignment and in integrity with that intention that inspired it. Because remember that we're saying that inspiration comes from God, the universe, your angels, your higher self. Okay? All right, let's take a look at, let me just see if there's any additional information coming about this card from Archangel Ariel. So she's just showing me that in this week, there is just your connection to your higher self. It's showing me the tree, that there's just some vulnerabilities here, meaning that there are some things that can come up that can weaken your connections, and she's showing me that this is very important for you to nurture. So when I see breast, it means to nurture yourself, to really nurture your connection. And the way to nurture your connection is to pay attention to the news feed of thoughts that are surrounding you, others' agendas. A lot of times we think we're taking on, we think we're always thinking that it's us, but a lot of times it's stuff that's out there and you're just feeding into it, but you don't have to. So to pay attention to what's happening, the information around the events. Every event that you see, everything that you witness is a code of thoughts. But processed through each individual, including yourself, when it becomes emotional, it becomes interpretive at that point. Do you know what I mean? Your perception, beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. So if you're feeling crappy, then the situation is not valuable to you, and vice versa. So focus on love, focus on thoughts that inspire more love, more happiness, more confidence, more faith. Focus on the thoughts. Write the codes. Rewrite your intentions. Okay, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. All right, and so we have the Emperor card. And this is a card about structure and organization and taking all those ideas and um, and putting them into something concrete now. Time to lay the foundations, if you will, which goes right with this card and also goes what we're talking about, because this work that we've been describing helps you to lay that foundation instead of letting it get stuck and to be kind of airy, sort of like just talk. Do you know what I mean? So, and struggle and all this stuff. If you start to do, you'll start to feel more focused and more organized. Sometimes you keep waiting for something to happen, and if you go ahead and begin, you'll get the answers. So it's going back to also about looking for the answers, waiting for the answers. Set those ships, let them sail, and then you'll know what to do next. You'll know by the feedback or what comes back what to do next. But you gotta launch the idea. You gotta launch your goals, lay a plan, start start any kind of start is going to provide you with more clarity. It's going to increase the word I'm seeing. It's going to increase the potential of prosperity that that you are able to grow for yourself. Okay? So don't sit back and just think. Now, do. Even if you're not sure, do. Because that will give you more understanding of what to do next. Okay? Let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. So good card so far. This is the Six of Air. And this card is, a peace of mind. So I feel like what's going to happen is after you go ahead and lay the foundation, it's going to make you feel better. I feel like you're worrying about something and you've been thinking about it and you've been overthinking it and you've been really conflicted, and it's just been giving you a lot of causing a lot of stress because you're just thinking about everything, the worst case scenarios, and you're imagining all these, disasters, for lack of a better word. But you may not think it's that specifically, but in your head, that everything to the ego is that, it always makes, that's how it gets you going. Even the slightest agitation is how it gets you, is to really make it dramatic. We may not always say it out loud to other people, but it's it's what's motivating that kind of suspicion. So this will, as you do this, you will start to feel a lot better because now you're actually working with real conditions. You know what I mean? Facts. You have data, feedback, experience. This is the whole thing about the experiment. So don't be afraid to experiment. Instead of worrying about, am I gonna get this or am I not? Am I gonna make a mistake or not? Don't think about life in those terms. Just think about life as an experiment. And an experiment, you get to watch the process, learn from the process, and also you get to tweak the process and still discover more. You may have a hypothesis, but you will have you will only be able to draw an accurate conclusion by engaging the experiment that is in your head and in your heart. Time to put it out there. Okay, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. And here comes a card of emotion, right? And mind, emotion, but spiritual here. So this is the card that we really need to focus on, since the majors trump the minors here. So, and that is foundation. Lay a foundation. No matter what is going on in your mind or what's going on in your heart, keep laying a foundation. So this card is about, something not working out as you planned, and emotionally you're just distraught about it. Because you're looking at what happened and what went wrong, and you are not seeing the process behind it. You're not investigating because you're too attached to it personally. And a scientist or a person in technology writing a code, and if they had a failed project, or they would just go to the code and look for the bugs and find it and fix it. To them it's all the math. And in this sense, the truth. They don't get. They're not going to get. All lost, because they know that even if they can't figure out from looking at the code, they will keep working with different codes until they find the actual solution. But this becomes to them interesting, because possibly this is somewhere this will lead to new discoveries that will be useful in code writing across the board. So it's sort of like this. Every time you and I have one of these moments, and each one of us individually goes back, and we don't get stuck in the emotional event, the emotions of the events, and we don't take it personally. And every time each one of us goes back and we look to see what created this, and we find the solution to fix that, the thought process, our belief process, etc., you make that new solution available to everyone. That becomes a part of the entire human community. It's there whether they want to pick up on it or not. It's in there. Like everything that we desire, every opportunity, every solution, the universe has already created it and is expanding upon them. So they're there for us to access. We just don't always choose to, or know how to, or we're not ready to. But because they're there, that's why we have, quote unquote, hope in our hearts that keeps also inspiring us when we aren't inspired on our own. You see, very profound if you can understand what is being said. I'm hearing it for the first time too. All these messages, I cannot tell you that I am better at this than you, because if it was not for you, I would not even be able to touch these subjects, because these are readings of your higher self. Each one of us is an ascended master, and my gift here is the ability to somehow be able to understand that frequency, which all of us are a part of. But if you knew how wealthy in intelligence and wisdom you are, it would blow you away, because it blows me away to say it to you. So let's take a look then at the card I already pulled from the bottom of the deck. All right, and we had this card come up last week, I feel like, somewhere at the Page of Fire. And for me, the Page of Fire is definitely all the pages are a student, right? So they're learning a lesson. They deliver messages as well. And they bring us new information because they're students, right? So easy learners, new learners. Just like if you were to sit back and talk to your kids, you feel like you know it all until you hear them say something. It's like, whoa, okay. So it's like my grandmother used to say, "A little child shall lead them." She used to quote that from, I guess, from the Bible. And that was her favorite thing to say every time she was marveled at something that one of us as children would say. She would always say, "A little child shall lead them." And it always made me feel, uh, you know, I don't know, strong and sort of grown up when she would say that. But this energy is spiritual energy, meaning ideas, creativity, innovation. Um, you know, the card says mischievous. If it's a person, this is somebody who can also be hot-headed, all right, and no, they don't think about their words. They'll have an outburst. But at the same time, the person like this is someone who doesn't. They have their own mind and they're very focused on what they want. They're burning fire and they're passionate and they don't easily burn out. They don't. People don't usually. Aren't able to extinguish their fire because they're so um, hot-headed, if you will, in that way. So that can be a plus and a negative. Again, it's not about wrong or right. It's bad. It's about appreciating. Okay, it's about appreciating life as it is. When you learn to appreciate life as it is and stop seeking to change it, other than what you feel called to, I don't want to say change because everything we do is a change. So that's not even about not changing anything, but it's about offering something. It's a better way to go. We're not here to evangelize. We're here to offer what comes from our heart. And we're not here to experience the result of that and the effects of that on others. But what we do, a real healer initiates the healing. You don't go to the healer to get healed. You go to help to be activated so that you can initiate your own path of healing. And the healer should not be seeking to clear the symptom, but to activate it. And you don't necessarily do that by even interacting with people. Just by them being in the vicinity of you, you set this off. That's how powerful each and every one of us is, and our divine influence is always, no matter what kind of stuff we are messing with at the moment, it doesn't turn this off in us. You know that once you've awakened, you can't close your eyes anymore. So, have a beautiful week, everyone. And trust your spirit, your innovative spirit. Trust the new ideas. But now put them into action because this is still the card that trumps, and this is what the message is. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings. If you'd like an angel reading, feel free to contact me at theangelschool.com. Bye-bye.